Emotional intelligence. They say intelligence can take you far, but emotional intelligence, that's what keeps you there. It's not about being the loudest in the room or the smartest. It's about being the calmest when everything around you is breaking. True power is knowing how to respond when life throws. You fire and you return with light. There's an old African folk tale about a wise tortoise who lived among noisy, quarrelsome birds. One day the sky grew dark and the winds howled. The birds began to panic, blaming one another, flapping, shouting, scattering. But the tortoise, slow and silent, simply began to build a shelter. A young bird flew down and asked, "Why aren't you shouting?" The tortoise said, "Because noise doesn't build anything. Wisdom does." When the storm passed, the birds returned to find the tortoise unharmed. They realized that it wasn't fear that protected him, it was the peace he carried within. That is emotional intelligence, the ability to build shelter in the storm, to see past the chaos and respond, not react, to listen when you're tempted to argue, to understand when it's easier to judge. It's the superpower most people ignore. You don't have to raise your voice to raise your value. You don't have to fight every battle to prove your strength. In fact, your greatest victories will be the moments you chose patience over pride, peace over panic, and understanding over ego. Emotionally intelligent people read more than books. They read the room. They sense when to speak and when silence will speak louder. They know when someone needs advice and when they simply need to be heard. Imagine homes where emotions are not weapons but bridges. Workplaces where empathy is as important as efficiency. Relationships where people don't just talk, but truly connect. That world begins with you. You can become the thermostat, not the thermometer. You can influence, not just reflect. You can change the atmosphere of every room you enter, not by pretending to be perfect, but by being deeply aware, grounded, and kind. So when anger rises, breathe. When criticism bites, stay rooted. When others lose control, you stay in command, not of them, but of yourself. That is where real strength lives, because storms will always come. But those who master their emotions will always find a way to build peace in the middle of the wind. Be like the tortoise. Let the world shout. You stay wise, stay steady, stay emotionally intelligent. That's where greatness begins.